If you were walking down the street and you went up to a random person and you asked them, would you like to be rich? 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say yes. Let's just be honest with ourselves. With the world that we live in, where pretty much everything costs money and everything is getting more expensive over time, you watching this video, you would probably want money as well. You'd probably want to be rich. Money is one of the most valuable resources on this planet because it can help you live a better and stress-free life. But then taking a biblical perspective into account, a lot of people ask themselves, is it sin to have wealth? Like, is it sin to have like fancy cars and a big house, like a mansion? Or is it sin to be a millionaire, or to stretch it, even a billionaire? Essentially, the question is, should Christians be rich? Yo, what's happening? It's just Joel and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, my name is Joel. On this channel I make faith videos just to educate you on Christianity and to help you on your walk with God. And we're going to get straight into the video right now. So being rich, it's an interesting topic, I think. And there's some verses in the Bible that talk about having riches and being successful. In the book of Proverbs 10 verse 22, it says, "The blessings of the Lord makes a person rich, and he adds no sorrow with it." It's important to understand that in today's modern world, money is everywhere. And it's important as well because you need it if you want to thrive in this world. If you want to have a roof over your head, you need money. If you want to put food on your table, you need money. If you want to get a car, get clothes, just essentially live a life that isn't too stressful, you need money. And because money is so needed in today's day and age, a lot of people have a distorted view of money. A lot of people within reason believe that you can't be Christian and then be rich at the same time, because they would argue that, oh, there's poor people around you. As a Christian, you're meant to be helping others, you're meant to be giving to others. How can you be rich in an environment of poor people? Some people will argue that as a Christian, you only need the basic necessities of life, such as, let's say, a small car just to get you to and back from work, and not a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. And using that argument, they'd probably use the verse where Jesus was talking to a rich man and told him to sell all he had, give to the poor, and then follow him. Whereas on the flip side, you have people that argue that it's God's will for us to be prosperous and to live a prosperous life while we're still on this earth. Well, the first thing I'm going to say regarding this topic is that there is no verse in the Bible which says it is a sin to be rich. In the book of Proverbs chapter 10 verse 4, it tells us that lazy people are soon poor, but hard workers get rich. And that verse just goes to tell us that riches are a result of hard, diligent, and consistent work. In the same book of Proverbs chapter 11 verse 24, it shows that you willingly giving, you being generous, you will be rewarded with more riches, with more than you already have. And there's examples of godly men in the Bible who were also rich, such as Abraham, King Solomon, Job, Joseph, and so on and so forth. So wealth in itself is not necessarily a bad thing. Most of the time it comes from you being a productive and dedicated and generous person. But you need to understand that when you gain wealth, it doesn't just come on its own. It comes with influence, it comes with authority, and it also comes with temptation. There's a couple of verses in the Bible that warns us about the dangers of seeking wealth. You can read the book of 1 Timothy 6 from verse 9 to 10, which says, "But people who long to be rich fall into temptation and are trapped by many foolish and harmful desires that plunge them into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, and some people, craving money, have wandered away from the true faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows." Money is a great asset to have, but if you're actively seeking it, if you're making it a priority, if you long for money and crave it all the time, it can lead you away from God. The thing about the verses we read in Proverbs is that it doesn't just apply to Christians, it applies to everybody. If you are a hard working, diligent, consistent person and are also generous as well, you will end up having money. But when you're a Christian and you have a lot of money, the temptation of relying solely on your wealth and not depending on God is so real. And see, some people already know this, so they actively choose to live a life off the basic requirements needed. These people, they won't be so focused on earning money in abundance. They'll just be focused on earning enough to get them through each and every single day, just to survive, essentially. And they do this because it keeps them in a humble state and it keeps them more dependent on God and not dependent on themselves. And also, I'll be so real with you. The danger of pride that follows people who have money is so great, because it's very easy for me to think I am more than you are because of what I have. But again, I just want to re-emphasize that money itself is not bad. That verse that I read in 1 Timothy chapter 6, a lot of people like to misquote that verse and say that money is the root of all evil when it's not. It specifically says the love of money is the root of all evil. The Bible distinctively lets us know that you cannot serve God and serve money at the same time. You cannot love both to the same degree. Either you will love one or love the other. And to be realistic with you, if you love money, like you're constantly chasing it, you're constantly striving to have more and more and more and more, like you're making it your priority, money will have you in its grasp and it will ultimately destroy you. You ever see that animation of a guy running after money and like it's dangling in front of him and he's running after it, but he can't seem to catch it? That will essentially be you if you make it your priority. You'll keep running after it, and when you do get it, you won't be satisfied. You'll keep running after the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And eventually you'll die, leaving all those things that you chased, leaving them behind. You won't take them with you. And see, this is where the posture of your heart, it plays a role in whether or not God wants you to be rich. Now, if you've been to church, you've probably seen people do tithing and offering, where people essentially give like 1/10 of what they earn. They offer it to God. They just give it. And I used to have a lot of questions about that, like a lot. Until this day, there's still controversy about tithing as well, but I'll explain that in a future video, the whole tithing thing. But the reason why I'm mentioning tithing is because I want to let you know that God does not want your money. He wants your heart. He wants you to choose Him before you choose money. That is part of why we tithe. When we voluntarily give 1/10 of what we have to God, we're not doing it to make God rich. We're doing it to keep ourselves humble and to show God that He is our priority, that He comes before anything else that we have. If your heart is completely sold out to God and completely committed to Him, there'll be no room for you to love money or to be tempted by the riches this world has to offer. And then God will be able to trust you with more money. He'll be able to get you that promotion. He'll be able to give you the bonuses you want to work. He'll be able to trust you with hundreds, thousands, millions, even billions, because He will know that however much you have, you are going to keep Him at the center of everything. So yeah, the posture of your heart, it plays a huge role in whether God wants you to be rich or not, because the thing about money is that it enhances what you already are. If you are somebody that has little, but you're still willing to give to somebody else just to see them happy and okay, even if it puts you in an uncomfortable position, best believe you're still going to be able to give when you have more. That mindset you have of giving, it'll follow you when you have more money. Mind you, you can still be poor and be greedy, because that's what leads people to sin and be jealous of others and just envy what they have. When you think about making money, do you think about supporting the work of God, helping people around you, providing for future generations that will come after you, and so on and so forth? Because I went to a careers talk and one of the speakers were talking about money, and I remember he distinctively said that God doesn't bless you just for you. And I completely agree with that statement, because God blesses you so that you can be a blessing to others. He doesn't want you to be so caught up on your own individuality, but He wants you to be caught up in your community as well. So instead of asking, should Christians be rich? You should ask yourself, you watching this video, you should ask yourself, does God want me to be rich? Because ultimately God wants you to love Him more than money and not let riches become your first priority, because it was never Jesus's first priority when He was on the earth. He was all about the salvation of humanity. So to come back to the $1 million question, you see what I did there? Yeah. Should Christians be rich? There is no fixed answer that applies to every single Christian. Does God want you to prosper? Yes. Yes, He does. And there's a lot of verses in the Bible to support that. But remember, being prosperous doesn't necessarily mean you will become a millionaire. God does not want you to be consumed by money, but for you to have complete control over it, however much you may have. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of this video. And if you have any other questions regarding money or regarding anything in general, just leave it down in the comments or drop me a DM on Instagram, and I'll see how I can answer it for you. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you when I see you. Stay safe. God bless.